right, welcome back. We're talking about section 7.4 now, the last section we'll study on the metric system. So we've been talking about how to convert within the metric system. So if you want to move from a decimeter to a centimeter or a hectogram to a kilogram, moving within those base units, the meter, liter, and gram, or base units that we use, and then we add prefixes to it. So in all of those, in the metric system, it's based on 10. So that means we can just move our decimal point back and forth depending on if it's times 10 or divided by 10. So now we're moving on to the last section where we're going to convert between different units of measure. So maybe the Old English system and the metric, or even another system. So we're going to do this. This is called dimensional analysis, this section, and it says in your notes, if you're following along, it says dimensional analysis is the procedure used to convert from one unit of measurement to a different unit of measurement. We will be using the unit fraction concept to help us achieve this goal. Unit fractions are fractions that when divided equal 1. So unit means one of something, so a unit 1. So an example of a unit fraction would be like 3 divided by 3. Anything divided by itself or an equivalent amount, we call that a unit fraction. It equals 1. 4.5 divided by 4.5. Anything divided by itself, an equivalent amount, equals 1. All right, so that might seem silly, like why would you do that? But I'm going to expand on that, like where we're going with this. We'll use this for unit fraction ideas, like if we were trying to convert between minutes and hours, even like within our English customary units, maybe you're trying to convert between hours and minutes, which I know you kind of know how to do that. You know, it's based on 60 and you've found strategies. But this unit fraction thing works with all types of measurements. So I think it's a very generalized method that you might find useful for many other things. So if we're trying to convert, we know that 60 minutes is 1 hour. That's a true statement. 60 minutes is an equivalent measure to 1 hour. So it's the same as saying something divided by itself. They're the same value. So when we divide that, that's called a unit fraction, and that equals 1. We could flip that upside down, and also a unit fraction equivalent to that would be 1 hour is 60 minutes. So you can flip that either way that it suits your purpose. So if you're trying to convert, let's say 7 hours into minutes, which I know you know how to do that, so just try to play along with me here, and we'll take it to a different way that isn't something we're all just familiar with. But the idea works for everything, every types of units of measure. So if you were trying to convert 7 hours and you were asking how many minutes is 7 hours, we all know you multiply by 60, but assume you don't know that. What we would do is we'd say 7 hours, our problem we're trying to work, put that over 1, make it a fraction, and times it by a unit fraction such that hours would be diagonal. So whenever you multiply, you can cancel out diagonal factors. So then the hour part cancels, and then you're left with 7 times 60, which is 420, and it's in the correct unit of minutes. So that's the idea we're going to expand on in this section. You multiply whatever you're asked to convert, put it over 1, and then multiply it by some unit fraction, some statement of truth, which would be a form of multiplying by 1, which we know when you take anything times a form of 1, we didn't change its value. We're allowed to do that and keep its integrity of the number. So then it converts it to what we want. All right, so that's the idea of a unit fraction. Some other unit fractions would be 12 inches is 1 foot. We know that that's truth. 12 inches is the same as 1 foot. So if I were trying to convert out of feet, and you had 3 feet, and you said, how many inches is that? Again, I know you know to just times by 12, because we're usually familiar with that, but this works. If we take 3 feet, put that over 1, the question we're asked, then times it by a unit fraction such that the feet is diagonal, the feet then cancel, and it shows us it's 3 times 12, 36 inches over 1, or just 36 inches. Now, what if I was trying to convert to inches, and I had 3 feet, or I think I just did that. I meant to say the other way. What if I had something in inches, and I'm trying to change it into feet? So let me do it the other way. Say I had 72 inches. And you were asked to convert that into feet. And again, you probably just know you're going to divide by 12, but this method helps us with that. Whatever the question is, you put it over 1, and then this time I want the unit fraction flipped the other way. I want inches to go away, so I want inches down here. So I would say, 12 inches and 1 foot are equivalent measures that I need. I want to get rid of the inches, and I want it to go to feet. So you want it flipped this way. Again, a form of 1, that way inches cancels. I've got 72 times 1, or 72, and it's in feet. And then on the bottom, I've got 1 times 12, or 12. And then that just helps me know whether it's a divide or multiply problem. So then 72 divided by 12, is that 6? So it converts it to 6 feet. All right, some other ideas, some other unit fractions we can see here. Oh, I don't have a calculator. We're going to need that. I think we're going to need that. Would be a foot is 12 inches, flipping it the other way. A decimeter is a centimeter. We could have used this idea back in the metric system and said 1 decimeter is the same thing as 10 centimeters. These are equivalent to each other. By moving the 1 place, it's the 1 decimal point. So that's a statement of truth. And then if we were trying to convert something out of centimeters, you had like 2.3 centimeters, and you were asked to convert that to decimeters. You could say 2.3 over 1 times a decimeter is 10 centimeters. That way centimeters cancels. You've got 2.3 times 1, and now it's converted over to decimeters. It's over 1 times 10, and then that just helps us to know you are dividing by 10, which will move the decimal back a place. Which, like we knew that in our little chart. That was kind of our shortcut to doing all of these. Is we just move our decimal point. If we were going from centa to deci, that was an up move, so we knew it moved the decimal to the left. So it works in that too. 16 ounces is the same thing as 1 pound in our English weight, and we could flip it and say, or 1 pound is 16 ounces. All right, so anything multiplied by a form of 1 retains its value. So we're allowed to do this, timesing whatever our problem is, put it over 1, times it by a true statement, a form of 1. So our method here is to multiply what we want to convert by a form of a unit fraction such that our unit we wish to change is diagonally, placed diagonally from the unit here. You always want whatever you're going from, you want that to be on the diagonal to cancel it out. All right, so here's another example. We're doing 30 inches and we want to change that to feet. So whatever the question is, we put that over 1. Then we times it with inches diagonal, and then some statement of truth. Here, the 1 foot is 12 inches is a true statement. That shows me the inches cancel. 30 times 1 foot is 30 foot. 1 times 12 is 12. Then I know to divide that out, and that came out to be 2.5 in feet. All right, another example, one that maybe you're not quite as familiar with and kind of have a learned strategy that you're using that you might find this helpful, is if you're converting US dollars to another form of money, another government money. So here we have a peso example, and that these amounts, they change with time. The dollar amount goes up and down compared to the pesos in different countries' currency. So this may not be accurate to date, so just saying, you might have to look it up to see what it currently is. But as of this example here, it said that a US dollar was the same as $19.63 in pesos. So convert your dollars over. So we can take our $20 and say, how many pesos are they going to give me for $20? And again, you might just know, just multiply it by that conversion factor. But if we're going the other way, we might have to divide. So sometimes, it is helpful. It shows us which way to go with that. You multiply or divide. But you take whatever you're trying to convert. So if I'm trying to go from dollars, I put my $20 over 1. And then I know I want dollars to be on the diagonal. And the conversion factor I have listed here is that 1 US dollar is 19.63 in pesos. So this is a statement of truth that's given. We've looked that up or whatever. and then that makes the dollars cancel, and then we multiply 20 times 19.63. And I'm gonna have to have you, oh, I do have that answer. No, I didn't write it down here. Doesn't look like. So type that on your calculator, 20, now no longer in dollars, times the 19.63, and that will be 6, 12, 19, I'm not guaranteeing where I'm doing it in my head here. It will be 39, 20. I better just work that out, hadn't I? 19.63 times the 20, 6, 12, 19, there we go. 392.6 in pesos. So once you multiply that, that converts it out to the peso. All right, I'm gonna miss my calculator. I forgot to bring that along, I said. All right, the next example, we're gonna go the other way. So assume that we have the pesos and we wanna know how much that is in dollars. Well, you might say I could just Google that, and you probably could, but it's kind of nice to know your own method to take care of if needed. If you're on that desert island, I always say, right, if you don't have your calculator or Google. But let's go the other way. We've got 110 pesos, and we want to convert that out into dollars. So we put our pesos over 1, the question we're asked, and then we times it by some statement we know of truth, which is a dollar is 19.63 in pesos, right? So we've got that given, and I've flipped it this way now, so pesos will be diagonal. So now the pesos cancel, and I've got 110 times $1. Now it's going to show up in American dollar, and it's going to be over 1 times 19.63. Now I really need my calculator for that, but luckily I did work that out on your note paper here and got 5.6, so it converts to $5.60 in American dollars. All right, so you have 5 activities there, so if you'll pause the video, please, and work those 5. And this is a good place for me to take a pause and go get my calculator.